we had our umbrella up because we have to protect our Wi-Fi box, which is here, and we've tried all sorts of different things. At the moment it's under a Tupperware, as you can see. The wire goes to the window, but for a while we thought we were really onto it, having our massive umbrella covering it. Then it blew over. Bummer. So anyway, it's too windy to film outside, and Tim and the girls are just chilling in the big yurt. So I'm gonna go down to the little yurt, the sanctuary. We should call it the sanctuary. Why don't we? Je ne sais pas. There's a little yurt. Ooh, do you remember that mission Tim went on to get the mattresses? So here are the mattresses that he went to Wellington to get. They zip together. So in the winter when we're not doing Airbnb, we can have them as kind of like sofas and then use the yurt for get-togethers and meetings, and then in the summer when we're doing Airbnb, they'll zip together and just be like this whopper of a king-size bed. Now I need to try and get it so that it looks really stylish, so that you can't see the piles of mattresses around, but so that you can like admire my outfit, because I've got a nice yellow top on, and I'm only half dressed though because underneath I have Mickey Mouse leggings that I stole from my sis, and I wear them ironically. That still looks a bit cluttered. They tell me that you should have like a non-cluttered environment while you're vlogging, so let me just work on this a bit. Seriously, what is the wonky donk? Oh, here we go. I mean, it still looks a bit cluttered, but good. Okay. Oh, you can still see the piles of mattresses. 5 mattresses we currently have in our little yurt. Just ignore them, okay? Just pretend they're not there. Look at my face. Alright. Haha, see now, I have put the camera on the mattress, and now you can't see the mattresses, and I have a nice uncluttered environment. I feel strangely triumphant, like I foxed someone in all of this, and really it's just me sitting in a yurt with 5 mattresses and a camera. Now, there's a bit of a story to this. Why would you live in a yurt? I mean, there are lots of reasons why one would live in a yurt, and there's a few reasons we live in a yurt, and then there is one big main reason that we live in a yurt. So I'm gonna tell you like the few reasons that living in a yurt was a good idea for us, okay? And then I'm gonna get a bit honest and vulnerable, right? Yeah. So here is a huge reason that we live in a yurt. It is really, sorry. Quickly, okay. So next week I'm gonna do like a big question and answer session. You can ask me anything, and next week I am going to tell you the answer. So if you want to ask a question to get answered next week, right now, just in a comments bit, just ask me a question about anything, whatever it is, just ask it, and I will try and answer it next week on video. And don't forget to subscribe. You know, if you're going to ask me a question, subscribe too, because that's a winning combo. Yeah. So now, look, we're going to move swiftly on, swiftly on to the reasons we live in a yurt. So number 1, a yurt is a really affordable housing option. So when we moved to New Zealand from the UK, we had some money from selling our London house, and we were looking at property and we were looking at houses, and we wanted a large enough property because we wanted to have forests on it and we wanted to do some farming on it. And we made it really affordable by going halvesies with another family that we had come to love and cherish. So our farm is co-owned, there's 2 families. But even though we went halvesies, we actually didn't really have any money left to do much with. So we did look at getting an architect to design a really simple eco house, and it was so far beyond us financially that we were completely gutted. We were like, man, we had no idea that that is how much it costs to get a house made. So the building was kind of like a little bit out of it. We looked also at tiny houses, and we looked also at just moving like a kind of old, really old, tiny villa onto the land. We looked at all these different options, and every single one was just so expensive and was gonna take so much of our time to invest in. Actually, that's number 2. So number 1, a yurt was the most affordable way to do it. It was second-hand, so it had been imported to New Zealand from Pacific Yurts in America. So somebody had already done all that importing, but then they didn't actually get it up, so it was still in its box, even though it was second-hand, and it cost us 35 New Zealand dollars, which is about half what it would cost to put up like a tiny little weeny villa on our land from somewhere else. Of course, all the extra timber, building the little bathroom and building the deck and putting down beautiful floorboards, because that was a priority for us for some reason. We just love floorboards. That did definitely all add to it. But we have mostly kitted it out using secondhand stuff. We have a local junk shop called the Seagull Centre, which we love. So everything inside of our yurt is basically reclaimed. Like our whole kitchen is actually the old units from the local doctors, like, yeah, the GP. So financially it was really affordable to us, and I think that yurts continue to be part of this movement that is really changing the face of what housing and what affordable housing looks like for people. Yeah, so number 1, financially yurts just make total sense. Number 2, our big yurt went up in a day and a half with a team of 12 people. That compared to, we were looking at probably a year of a building project. So, and the reason we moved to New Zealand was in order to spend more time with our family and spend more time on the land and doing the things that we really love and think are important. So we didn't want to be tied up in this huge building project that would absolutely take over our lives for a year. So that was definitely the second big reason, was that it just went up so quickly. It meant that we had a home that didn't take over our life. Number 3, yurts are such an epically beautiful way to live. There's something about the light that shines in, the roundness of it, the fact that there's just a thin little bit between you and nature that makes it feel like a really beautiful, quite sacred space. So we love it for the aesthetics. We knew that we could probably bosh out a house in a year with a bit more money, but we absolutely knew that it would never be as beautiful as a yurt would be. So those are really like the 3 sort of reasons that I can easily explain to people why we live in a yurt. And then there is this other big kind of reason that is actually quite hard to describe. And the whole reason I'm doing this video is because a journalist wrote about me in the Australian press, and I shared it on my Lulastic Facebook page, and the first comment was from some random guy, hi out there if it's you, and he said something like, I don't see how you're challenging my white male privilege by doing something as privileged as moving to the country and living in a yurt, you know, really super snarky. And I guess it touched a bit of a sore point really, because the truth is, I think I had that opinion too. I was never a white wealthy male, but I definitely used to have this idea that moving to the country and living an eco life was a bit of a kind of cop-out really, a bit of a, yeah, just a cop-out. And I can remember when we lived in central London, we lived in this great big, kind of like a squat type thing with just between 6 and 20 other people for a couple of years when me and Tim first got married. I was literally just off Oxford Street, and it was amazing. We really loved it. And some of the friends that we made at that time, they were coming back to New Zealand, and they were going to buy some land and live in teepees. And I can remember thinking at the time, why would you do that? The world doesn't need, you know, competent, resilient people to move to the country and just isolate themselves from humankind. What we need is sustainable forms of living within the city, because that is where the majority of the world lives, is in the city. So we need people living inspiring eco lives in built-up areas. That's what the world needs. And I really, like, you know, just rolled my eyes at these people that would move to the country. And here we are. But here's the thing. Until you have felt that deep, deep drive, that call of your heart to just go and live amongst the wild, I don't think you can ever understand it. And that is definitely what I was like. I just didn't get it. And then me and Tim felt it. We felt this huge draw. Maybe we felt it on behalf of our children, I don't know. But it came from deep within, and it was the call of the wild. And I wish it didn't sound so cheesy, and I wish our lives weren't such a cliche, but honestly, that is the truth. We just wanted to live as people have done for millennia, and that is in close quarters with the outdoors. We wanted to live amongst the trees, we wanted to live by a river, we wanted to be able to live off the land, and we wanted to be able to build a deep connection and relationship with the earth. And we actually laughed the day that we moved into our friend's yurt. We were just moving into it temporarily. We were like, oh my god, it's so ridiculous. And really quickly it became apparent that this was such a beautiful way of living, to be so close to nature and so in touch with the elements and so reliant on the seasons. And every single day we're grateful that we get to live this life. We're also really grateful that we live with the family that we do on this farm, because before we even bought this land we decided we don't want to just be an isolated little community who are privileged and just doing their own little thing. We actually want to share our land with people. We want to give people the chance to learn skills and learn about eco-living and off-grid living. So we're all committed to not being just like this landed gentry living their privileged life, but who work for the land, who love the land, and who share their land with people. So there we go. That is the honest truth. It's kind of intangible, but it's so real for us. So I'm gonna go back up to the big yurt now. Don't forget to ask questions for me to answer next week, and also subscribe, comment, thumbs up, blah blah blah, and keep radical.